Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening to I Wish Podcast. Thank you guys so much. It's Monday, April 14th. It's about a little after 10 a.m. California time. Just had an earthquake. So, on today's podcast, Jill and I have been talking about doing this. This has been something that's been coming up time and time again about client experience. So, Jill, will you introduce yourself for the audience real quick? If you didn't catch Jill's original podcast, you can go back through the history and you can find it. But Jill, just introduce yourself, everybody, for today, and welcome. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much, David. My name is Jill Jodar. I am a licensed esthetician for the last 26 plus years, still in the treatment room full time. And then in 2024, I released my book, Synthesis. So, book on upping the game with client experience. Ah, there it is. and helping people out with both client experience and client management. And I also launched my consulting company at the same time, sort of as an adjunct to the book, knowing that everyone doesn't learn the same way. Some people just aren't book learners. So actually, just 2 weeks ago, I launched a couple new webinars and doing a whole bunch of stuff in 2025. So I'm really excited.
Which is super. I'm just literally looking at how blown out I am and how bright I am right now. I'm like, am I the right color? It's okay. You know what? It's okay. So I think this is such a relevant topic right now in 2025 in aesthetics, specifically service industry based businesses, really understanding what client experience means to the longevity of your business from day to day. So, you guys, we're going to go through some really cool, we've got a really nice list of questions to talk about a client experience, just making it top of mind. And then at the end of the podcast, I'm going to go over and I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of some new products we just launched.
Yay.
Woo! Was our number one selling serum last week. So we'll save those for the end and get into it. So, Jill, obviously you've been in aesthetics for a hot minute. But does it kill you? What do you believe sets the tone for a great client experience the moment that somebody enters your space?
Okay, so I would actually say that you're setting the tone before they come in, and that is through their first point of contact, their interaction with you, your how easy is it to book, um,
Yes.
how transparent is all your communication, like sort of I always call it client onboarding, but that is what it is. If they're new, did they get an email with parking info or security for the door, if that's the situation, all those little details. um, I have all my clients fill out a consult before they come in because it gives me time to review. So that's all front end before we ever see each other face to face.
I love that because you're true, right? It's the first interaction with your business, period, right? Starts
Mhm.
setting the stage.
Yeah.
So when you have a client, this is another thing that I think it gets to be triggering for society today in 2025, which the attention span.
Right.
If you can't book a service or buy a product in like under 5 seconds, like
Yeah.
people are like scrolling, I gotta go, everything needs to happen so efficiently. So when you think about your first touch point with your customer,
Mhm.
is it cumbersome? Is it easy? Does it flow very naturally? Like clients don't want to waste a lot of time trying to
Right.
at least book an appointment, right? It is
Yeah.
the first interaction.
Yeah.
So I love it because you're saving time by having somebody fill out their consultation before, we,
Yes. And
right? So that's part of the
it's
onboarding.
I always say like 3 points with that. One is you rule out contraindications. So across the board, whatever kind of service you're doing, you're going to save everybody's time if you're like, oh, yeah, we can't do that treatment. We can't do that wax, or we can't do whatever because of something they're using. So you save yourself everyone's time and money
Yes.
that way. Um, it allows you to review it because, I mean, yes, you become very familiar with sort of, you know, many things that people are using, whether they're topicals or prescriptions, but it gives you time to look things up. And then
Yes.
you also you get like a vibe on the client too. You kind of know what you're in for, honestly. Like, it's like some consults, people are like, no, not applicable. Yes. Like there's nothing. And other people, it's like there's a manifesto for every question. And that's important to know, because
Yes.
you're going to deal with those clients differently when they come in. So I love that. And shocker, I'm type A. So I like to be prepared.
Well, and it's sets the tone for a very efficient appointment because you're not going to run late or someone's not going to show up and you're going to be like, oh, you're on Accutane. I can't wax you today. Like,
Right. And also just, you know, we have a limited number of people we can see in one day. So by you're still going to do a verbal consult, but
mhm,
you're going to save all that time. And people I find more thoughtful when they do it ahead of time, as
yes.
opposed to sitting there with a clipboard and like kind of whatever. And they're like, you know,
They're
not
like, I
really.
just want to get my service.
Yeah. And they kind of
Yeah.
just, they half-ass it, really. I mean, I've done it, haven't you? When you're like filling out paperwork in a doctor's office and you're just like, multiple to answers and things, you just don't really like give all the information because you just want to get it over with, right?
Check the box and draw the line all the way through the
Yeah.
thing. Like,
Yes,
yeah,
100%.
I get it. So when you're doing when somebody comes in, they filled out their consultation
Mhm.
form. What are you doing to ensure that they feel heard and understood as far as your like body language now that they've actually filled this stuff out? Because you would have weeded them out immediately if they checked a box that says, "Oh no, you're not eligible for that service."
Right. So you mean more like feeling out personality or
Yeah,
just
like so that you're basically acknowledging what they put on their consultation form.
right. So I always see like the written portion or the online portion as sort of the starter because one, you kind of go through and reiterate a lot of things because you'd be surprised what people won't include on a written consultation. And then you'll find out when you just go, you know, okay, so no prescription topicals, no like, well, yeah, I mean, other than the Retin-A, like they
You're
just
like,
leave things out. And I like to ask some sort of leading questions.
mhm,
Um, Now, sometimes it's going to be obvious, like let's say acne client. Obviously, you'll know when they walk in that that's why they're there, right?
yeah, yes,
But the first question I ask in general to everyone is what brings you in today, no matter what they've written on the form. You get a lot of good information that way. I ask people what their favorite part and least favorite part of treatments are
mhm,
in the consult because you find out like they hate steam or they hate having something on their eyes or they just little things that are going to make their experience so much better that they won't necessarily just offer unless you ask.
yes,
um, so then I want to go through the different like their skincare, obviously all those things, going through all those touch points in the consultation so that they kind of know that I'm hearing why they're here to see me, even if on
yes.
occasion it's a treat. They
Yes, they're like, "I just wanna relax, and
They
I'm
just
totally okay just to
they
come in
just
for
wanna
the."
relax, and so I'm gonna, like, zip it and take really good care of them. And, I know some people get a little fusty with clients like that when they're like, "Oh, I'm a clinical esthetician and I do," you never know who that person knows.
Yeah,
You
right.
never know. Like, I've had people that come in for their like, a treat once a year, but they have been, like, an evangelist for my practice. They're sending me
Yes.
clients left and right. So
I
you never know.
which
You never know.
I love that, acknowledging. So, first of all, you saved your time because someone is coming in for a service they can have.
Yes.
You're acknowledging if there's any specific things that they dislike in a
Mhm.
service and making sure that you're going to accommodate whatever if they're feeling claustrophobic, you're not gonna wrap them up super tight with their arms in the
Right.
sheets, and
Right. Yeah.
it's only happened to me one time where I had a panic moment, but that's all right. Um, in your opinion, out of the details that we just talked about,
Mhm.
what do you feel makes the biggest difference in a client's first impression with your business? If you could choose one thing,
Oh, just choose one thing on
she's
their
like,
first
all of it.
impression? Well, because it kind of is. It's the grouping of like a million little details.
Hmm.
Um, but I think it's your presence that you aren't when they come in, it's their time.
Yes.
You're not rushing around. Um, you don't leave them waiting.
Yes.
I've had people comment on that they love that when they come in, it's like they feel like it's their time. They don't even see other people when they come in.
Yeah.
It's just the two of us. So yeah, I think like being truly focused. on that person. And especially for, I know a lot of us are, solo, meaning we're wearing 87 hats. So there's a
Mhm.
lot to do, but like when the client's in, it's their time and you're not like trying to, I don't know. There's a million things we could be trying to do real quick, like get
You're
product
sort of
clarity.
you're setting that stage for
Yeah.
someone's coming in from outdoor, they're trying to find a place to park and they're a little bit frantic already. So you're immediately disengaging that by, I'm here for you. There's not commotion happening in your space. You're
No,
focused. You're not trying to like pack and ship something or do something on your computer,
exactly.
send a text message. You're like, I'm here for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's their time.
It's huge. And I know that because of all the solo, you guys, everyone's working really, really hard. And sometimes clients are texting you in between services, which is understandable. They're trying to communicate with you.
Hmm.
But the priority is, of course, the person standing in front of you that's made their way into your business. Everything else has to go on pause for a minute.
Hmm. And with starting the consulting group with the book and everything, I've definitely felt that, like that I really had to remind myself, like, these are the people, these are the reason that you wrote the book. They're why you're here. Like,
Yes.
so just zone in. You have to put that to the side for later and take care of that, you know, when you actually have dedicated time.
Yes. Because it's important. And we just have to remind ourselves sometimes, like I, as a business owner too, we're very, very busy. There's a lot of incoming coming in
Hmm.
happening. When someone just graduated from the course and they're doing an onboarding call with me, they're 100% priority. Everything else has to wait.
Hmm.
That's 60 minutes of time that someone's blocked out of their schedule. I blocked out of my schedule. The customer's the priority. So it's huge. And it's a first impression, but it's also a touch point, relationship touch point for a client
Yeah.
that's going to come back again and again and again.
Yeah.
Um, what strategies do you do to educate clients without over? So this is a bigger question, and I understand that it's subjective because everyone's at a different level of learning. When people come in,
Yeah.
what is a good strategy that Jill Jodar uses to not overwhelm? I know I'm on your distribution list, so I see your posts, and I know you're constantly educating your clients. How do you not overwhelm a customer, Jill, in 2025 with all of the incoming?
Um, well, if we're talking about like in my space, then I like to just think of sort of, I know you use this like meeting them where they are.
Yes.
Um, like in terms of product, I'm sure you probably do this, have heard this, but like if I'm talking to you about product, we're going to have a very different conversation, right, than a
Yes.
client. So it's kind of, I like to use that feature function benefit where you might pull out the one thing that is something that they have expressed interest in terms of, something they may want to correct or prevent, like one ingredient, what it does and why it works. So keeping it a little more simple.
Hmm.
Um, And I think just same with the treatment. If somebody comes in, it's just being very open and transparent about what you can and can't do in a treatment, from the get-go. Because like when someone's coming in, say you're working on pigmentation or I mean acne is the perfect example because this is going to take some time. This is not like I'm going to, clear out every follicle on your face today. It's not going to
You're
happen.
like, I need this to be lifted by the time I leave. I need my acne to be, you're going to clear my acne today, right? In one treatment.
I mean, I have clients that I know they love that I geek out on all this stuff as product technology, but they just kind of it I've had people say to me like, it's your specialty. I'm deferring to you. Go. Do what do what I need and tell me what
Yes.
I should use. Then there's the clients that you can tell from personality that you're like, okay, we're going to use our college words with this one, like they want to know that you're a pro.
Yeah.
They want to hear some very specifics and they're going to throw out, buzzwords and things to see if you know what you're doing. But then I'm like, okay, yeah, we're going to okay,
Let's
we're
geek
going to
out together.
yeah, exactly. So, either way, it's kind of reading the room.
Yes.
Um
Yes.
and in terms of overwhelm, especially for clients like a rosacea client or an acne client, I mean, you could make this argument for anything we're treating on the skin, but there's a lot with lifestyle and diet that you might be recommending, and it's a lot. So,
Yeah.
like, if you just, give them a treatment and, well, they're going to be like deer in the headlights what?
What the hell do I
What did you
do?
say? So I always do follow up with links to things that they can access later.
Yes.
I do for clients that maybe didn't want to buy product that day, but I always keep like, here's your dream protocol, here's links to everything. Reach out if you have any
Mm.
questions, so that you're just giving them the resources when they leave. So they, after they've been laying there for whether it's 30 minutes or 75, they don't have to remember all this stuff in their head. They're not,
Yes.
they're not going to.
I love so in the course, you guys, for the practitioners that are tuning in, there's a downloadable sheet because I know we're not nutritionists, we're not physicians.
Right.
We do have recommendations, obviously, for healthy skin strategies. So you can have a downloadable form to give to a client that they can look at later, limit some of the dairy consumption, sushi, iodine rich foods, things like that while they're going through acne, just to make it a little easier for someone to have a reference point. I
Yeah.
love that you send links and stuff too,
Well,
because
because yeah, I have a page. Well, it's basically like it's like a hidden page on my website. So it exists, but it's not as you page through. So when you're an acne client of mine, that's one of the resources that you are sent after we see each other the first time. So you always have access to it. So you
yes, I
can
love that.
go back and check it out, you know.
I love it. So we're talking about communication, which is this is key, you guys, because you're wrapping your arms around your customer. You're giving them everything that they need to get the most benefit out of your treatment, which is also understanding that the results that they're looking for usually are going to take some time, which is obviously why products are solutions for home care.
Mhm.
Do you have an example, Jill, of a time when you transformed a challenging situation and flipped the narrative into a positive situation? Hi, everybody. This is David Valenzuela with I Wish Podcast, inviting you to like and subscribe on whatever platform you're viewing or listening to this episode. Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. This episode has been generously sponsored by Wish Skin Health. Wish is focused on the holistic treatment of acne without the need for harmful prescription medication. If you are looking to level up your aesthetic business, we would love to have you as a certified Wish Pro. To learn how to join the Wish family, visit trywish.com. That's TRYWISH.com. Click on the Pro tab for further details.
I know. Um, well, yeah, I mean, and also this is kind of funny because over the years, there have been times in multiple places that I worked where someone came in that was a little salty, like just you could tell it was going to be challenging.
Yeah,
And you, I had a colleague would be like, "She's going to love me. I'm going to make her love me." Like,
this is a
let's go.
personal challenge.
Challenge accepted, right?
Yes.
It's that sort of mentality. But I would say I have had some clients that were very challenging in very nervous, a lot of issues with coming in for a treatment. Like it was a big deal for them to come in. And I think um, being willing to sort of think outside the box and change my treatment up to keep that person feeling comfortable. I'm thinking of a particular client, and when she came in, I was like, "Oh, whoo, woo wee." It's one of those where you're taking a real deep breath outside the room, like
Yes.
get it off. And by the time she left, she hugged me. And I was like, nobody's taking care of her, you know? And it would be real easy just to be like, oh, this one, let's get it done. Let's get her out of here, move on.
Right.
But listening to actually what some of her concerns were, and I changed up totally how I did the treatment because of different things that freaked her out. It was a long list.
Yeah.
And just the fact that I was doing that on the fly actually really meant a lot to her. And
Mm.
for better for worse, David, she's a regular client now. So I see her.
So you check the right boxes, which you guys at the end of the day, we're in the service industry. So we do have to work to accommodate our clients that are going to be future five. If you think about so back in the day, we would look at I remember just being a little tiny baby account executive, working for Aveda. And I remember Aveda when they started as technology started to take hold, we had analytics and we could look at data and we could be like, oh, this person loves Shampure or this person sells a ton of make. When you started looking at lifetime spend for a customer, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone's just looking at the quarter, the month, the week, whatever. Like, how do I make my commission? I just got to. when you start looking at the amount of money people had spent with the brand over a period of time,
Yeah.
it changed the mentality.
Hmm.
And when we look at our customers too, it's not, yes, you're going to make money in this service right now, but the longevity of that service, a client that's going to stick with you 3, 5, 10 plus years,
Yep.
it's not just about this one individual service that day.
Yeah.
It's longevity and retention. And
And now everyone's getting a little nervous economy
yeah,
wise, and those are the clients that are going to keep you afloat. They're going to pay your rent. Those ones that they're like
yes,
your ride or dies. They're like
you're right. You
they're
guys,
not
this is
going
so,
anywhere.
we know that the world is a little volatile right now, and to not go into straight up politics, but also just being aware of the sensitivity of some clients right now and their thought process, what people are being inundated with on the day in and day out, is very chaotic. So I know people want to come in and they want to talk politics with us, and they want to have like, they want, there's a lot of like emotions, and our jobs are to just stay the line, and we don't want to get too crazy on the bandwagon. We just want to stay the line because they're ultimately coming into your space as a reprieve from the outdoor noise.
Yeah.
And it takes a conscious, because there are things that will trigger you. I'm like, what? I get triggered. Why am I triggered? And my personal thing right now, Jill, for 2025 was going into and evaluating why I feel a certain way when I am triggered by something,
Hmm.
to look at myself and say, what? Okay, not flipping off the ceiling because you want to call your friends, you want to get everybody else on your bandwagon. I'm like, why am I triggered by X?
Yeah.
And just thinking through it. And so not trying to throw more gas on an already big burning bonfire. Your clients are coming in, everyone's got exposure to social media, the news, the radio, podcasts, all of these things. Our job is to diffuse the situation. Let's give them a loving treatment. Let's get them out of this
Hmm.
for 45, 60 minutes, out of that mindset. So it is a skill because we all have our personal opinions and belief systems, and we want to, and I get it, but I feel like it is now more than ever a great time to really understand the art of disengaging away from it
Hmm.
for a treatment period,
Yeah, and just bring
right?
it back. Just bring it back to the skin, and remember
Yes.
how important then, like your focus and your touch is going to be in sort of
Yes.
setting that mood, right? That it's everything is just like you know you're in the vault now. It's
You're in the
okay.
vault. It's okay. Everything's okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Leave that
saying that
at
a
the
lot.
door. It's a lot. It's a lot for all of us. So let's talk a little bit about personalization and customization. So obviously you guys, so Jill just drops little pearls of wisdom, you guys, from all of the years of experience. And I know that when we look at the analytics of this podcast, and even you guys, thank you so much for listening. First of all, for giving us your unbound attention while you're doing this on Spotify or YouTube or Apple. I appreciate all of it. I get these random messages. I'll be sitting at lunch and I'll get a text message from Spotify talking about we've reached a certain threshold of engagement. And I'm like, what? Because people are listening, whether the podcast the day of, 3 weeks from now, a month from now, people find Wish. It's like, it's just a different day. So when you think about your personalization, Jill, of like treating a client, you're
Mhm.
doing a really great job of bringing your clients in with already the foundation of what the service needs to look like from a personalization standpoint. So if you know someone's using prescription products topically, you're probably not going to do any kind of crazy chemical peel on them or like wax
Right,
their eyebrow off, or like,
right.
you understand that out of the gate. What is your personal, so you, I know that we all know this, but when your client comes in and you're doing a consultation in person now, you're looking at the skin
Hmm.
and you're like, there's something else going on here that they didn't put on that form.
Yeah.
What's your workaround to how do you verbalize it, or do you just internalize like, oh yeah, we're going to do this because the skin looks like,
Um, well, it kind of depends because sometimes somebody might want to address a particular concern, but let's say they are just like really inflamed. And so that, or like their barrier is just trashed. Like we have to start there. So I will, explain to them, but I don't have the list of facials where you pick.
I love
Mine
that.
is a customized facial treatment and there's two times. That's it. So I'm going to do anything and everything or not everything depending on what your face needs. So you're not in a situation where like, oh, well, they decided that they want to do the, you know, triple exfoliation explosion. And like they come in and you're like, oh no, we can't do that. Like they need some barrier love. We don't want to touch the skin with exfoliants, right? You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it I will definitely talk. I always like to tell people like what I did and why I did it. And sometimes that's in the treatment if they're talkers, but some people want silent service. So then we do it after. We just recap after why I
I
did.
love it. And obviously having the wherewithal to, even though a client's requesting a certain thing, being able to look at the skin, evaluate it in a professional opinion and say, we're just going to do this
And pivot. Yeah.
and
And
pivot
explain why. And they're usually like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
and just skip right over it. Funny story. So this is, because of course, we're all like with our potions at home. And I'm like, all right. So I had a friend visiting me. She'll probably listen to this and she'll be like, why are you telling people that? She's like, David, I want to do a peel. I want to do a peel. I want to do a peel. It's Christmas time. I want to do a peel. I want to do a peel. And I was like, all right, we're going to have like home face. It's like a week and a half before Christmas, right?
Right.
We're going to do a home facial peel situation. So while I was showing her, how we're actually putting the prep on, what I was doing is I was looking at her to make sure that she was doing it correctly. This is just FYI, you guys, why your clients don't have access to professional products at home. I'm looking at her face and I'm making sure that she's the amount of pressure that she's applying, that she's, not going crazy.
Yeah.
But what I was not doing was paying attention to my own face while I was doing it with her. So I was going over my face multiple times, not only with pore rebalancing toner as a prep, but also when I was showing her just to do like one pass of the peel. So long story short, I blew my face up Christmas time. I had a facial booked because I'm like, woo, it's, I'm going to have a moment off, like, woo, go get a facial. She couldn't touch my face. I was basically burned. So, obviously I wear a lot of hats out here because we're in Palm Springs. The sun is blaring all the time. So where the hat was rubbing my head was extra because a little mechanical exfoliation from the hat.
Sure.
So obviously when I went in there, she looked at me and she literally said to me, David, I can still do a treatment on you, but I know my skin, I know how reactive I already am. And I already knew my face hurt. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's just, we'll just do something else that's not have anything to do with this. So
Yeah.
it is a little bit of a delicate conversation because I get it. If somebody comes in, they're completely sensitized, their barrier function's blown up, and you're like, they want to get a medium depth peel. You're like, no,
Yeah. Well, and I have it's on my website. If you book, you will see that like I don't peel first time clients.
smart.
It just says right there, it's that like, book a customized facial. We'll come in and we'll talk about your options based on what you're looking to take care of. But I'm
Yes.
never going to book a peel for someone I haven't seen, you know?
Smart, 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 smart. I love that. So, Jill, so you obviously, I know you have a techie husband and keeps
Yes.
everything like functional and like works out these great spreadsheets and this database. I'm like, that's amazing. What systems or habits do you have in place to ensure a consistent client experience across all visits? Do you have anything, or is it just so ingrained in your brain at this point?
um, I think what I would say for that in terms of systems is um, I have drafts set up for all manner of my follow-ups.
Mm,
Um, I, the technology now will do it where like it will like auto send a thank you to people. I don't personally like that. I mean, I've been like thanked before got on the elevator to leave a place, and
I like when,
it doesn't feel real.
yeah,
It's like, well, okay, so they set up their software. I mean, like confirmations and all that, God sends, right? I mean,
yeah.
you and I are similar ages. Like, I used to have to call all of my clients at the beginning of the week to confirm their appointments. I'm
Hmm.
just like, do you remember that? I mean, that was
Yes.
just a drain of time. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I have all these things already set up so that after a client, when I chart, if there's any follow-ups that need to happen, did they buy a new product? Did they get an advanced treatment where I'm going to send post-care or whatever? And then it's just they're ready for me. All I do is drop in the email and personalize it. So
Yes.
making sure that there's a personal element to it. I think product follow-ups are one of the best things ever. I mean, you would not believe the feedback I get from people just because I'm not getting paid for that and I just schedule them. So, right, like when they leave, that check-in is happening now. It depends what they bought, right? You can give them a moisturizer or a cleanser, you can give them a week or two. You know, they'll know if they like it or not.
Yeah.
Whereas a treatment product, 3 to 4 weeks to make sure there's no issues, usually, right? They're going to start seeing something, but it just goes out. I'll have people get back to me and I'm like, what? Oh, right, right. She just started on the phytoactive and
Yeah.
and the micro moisture last time.
Yeah.
Great. She loves it. Perfect. You know? So that I've set up for myself because it's just easier so that then I don't forget. It's part of my charting and I can release it. It's not like I don't have to remember in 3 weeks that I need to email Margie. Do you know what I mean? Like and check on her. Like it
I
just
love, well,
process.
technology can be our friend and used correctly. Obviously, the automated crap, even in our pro Facebook group, like 3 months ago, I was like, what is this automated stuff? And then I didn't realize it was sending the post every single week asking the exact same question.
Oh,
I was like, why does it keep doing that? What is going, of course, because I was probably playing around an admin page one time. I'm like, what is this? Oh, push that button, push it. As Steven always says, stop pushing buttons,
well,
stop
that
pushing
that
buttons.
happened. That actually happened to me with my shop, which was it was some feature I didn't realize was like you said, like it was enabled, and so like it was sending emails to my clients recommending other products, and I'm like, whoa, 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 robots, no, I recommend the products. You don't recommend the product. So I obviously like I learned through error that I had to go
Yeah.
in and manage that so they didn't do that anymore. But
I think the personalization thing that you just touched on is the key. Obviously,
yeah,
you're not just getting a random thing by some random product that like they're actually getting specified, and the timing of it when it
yeah.
actually comes back to them to actually, oh, this makes sense. Yes, I've been using that product for 2 weeks. Or like in our last podcast, you're like, is it still in her purse? Did she even take
Oh,
it out of her purse yet?
and that has happened. I've had people be like, "Oh my god, I haven't started using it." Like, "Oh, thanks so much." And you're like, "Okay, great.
Oh, that's right. It's floating around in my car,
Put it in
I
my
think
bag."
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All the fun things. I love that. So, Jill, in the situation where you've had to approach a client that is dissatisfied,
Mhm,
very rarely with Jill, I can assure you, a client that is dissatisfied or has complained,
mhm.
what is your approach in a situation where someone is expressing to you dissatisfaction, aka either a bad review or complaining about something?
Um, okay, so like in the context of product, um, first, well, hopefully front end you are good with your education in
Yeah.
usage and how to use it because that's often what happens, and then the people that are like,
Yes.
they've used it twice. I don't see a difference. So then you
Right.
can sometimes that's enough. You just talk them through like, okay, like let's keep going. If they're still sticking or somebody maybe just doesn't like something, I take it back. Let's switch
Yes.
you out, get something else.
Yes.
And service similar, but if someone is unhappy and it's fixable, you fix it and you fix it for free and you fix it as soon as possible. I'm
Yes.
saying like, I don't know, like I'm just throwing something out there. My lashes aren't full enough or my brow tint isn't dark enough or whatever. Somebody missed some hairs,
Yeah.
something, whatever. Fix it, right?
Yeah.
Um, and see, I'm of the because it should be rare. If it's
Yes.
happening a lot, then there's a lot of other things that probably need to be worked out. But like
Hmm.
comp it, you
Agree.
know, talk to them, tell them that you are sorry that they had a poor experience, whatever that was, and then comp the service or comp them to come in their next time, whatever it is. I'm always going to err on that side because sure, you will get people who want something for free.
Hmm.
I mean, yes. But I think by like having one really great communication and educating and managing the client experience through the whole thing,
Yes.
it won't happen that much. It really won't.
Right.
So yeah, like back in the day when I was managing a collective, all the people that I was sort of, you know, overseeing, I made it a point to them like, if someone is unhappy, take care of it, whatever that means. You don't need to check with me. I
Right.
want them to leave feeling like they had a good experience. you know?
Yes.
It's also like,
It's
if there's a random thing that'll happen, I'm knock on something. I shouldn't say this out loud because something weird will happen. But my space is really quiet, even though I'm on Union Square.
mhm.
I worked in another place that wasn't the case. And so it was like, if something random happens that is really disruptive to the treatment, proactively discount it or comp it. Just do it.
Yes.
You'll
Someone's
preserve
jackhammering construction.
protests, Cisco. Yeah. Back in the day, there was like 9 weeks of a union protest in front of the hotel across the street from where my office was.
Mm,
And I thought all of us were going to need medication. It was insane.
right.
But you
Which not
just
your client's fault. You're just going to do the best, make the best of the situation.
earplugs, do everything you can. And when you had to, you discounted the service because then they were like, wow, that was amazing. And it's not her fault. She didn't do
Yeah.
it. It just builds the relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, you just reminded me of a situation when I was managing the salon in Palo Alto. So back in the day, Jill, like I know there's like it was the late 90s, right? So everything's on paper. I had two people that were sitting in a room that literally spent all day long just calling to confirm appointments. That was a full-time job.
Yep.
48 service providers, spa, salon, nail, I mean, the whole thing, right? So we had to make a decision because the salon was being renovated. Yosh had never renovated it. So we moved all the hairdressers upstairs. And there was a day where they were putting conduit in the cement floor. So literally if anyone knows what the sound of that drill that's actually going down into cement while you have a full functioning hair salon, people trying to answer the phone, we were discounting a lot of services that day because not only were my nerves frayed just from hearing it, we actually looked at the option of moving to another location, but we were booked so far out in advance, we couldn't get anything to accommodate the scale of the business.
Hmm.
So we just made people happy, had to put the phone on voicemail because you couldn't hear over the. I get it. And I remember a day where the water was turned off. You got all these people processing in hair color. They can't rinse their hair out. Like I'm running up and down the stairs in the sparklets thing back in the day, bringing.
Wow.
Sometimes you just got to roll with it.
Well, yeah, and that is what it is just and I guess the biggest thing I probably didn't say that I should is that if someone when you reach out, like when you do the follow-ups, which you always do, you have to be prepared that somebody might not always have 100% positive feedback. And so you have
Yes.
to like really be open to it. Like, oh, did I drop the ball there? Because people get very defensive, and
Mm-hmm.
I get it because you're like that one, like trying to put it on the person, like
Yes.
and instead, like, oh, you know what? I think that maybe I could have communicated that better. And then it'll change how you do your business going forward. Because trust me, if one of those things happens, it won't ever happen again. Because, right? If you make a
we
mistake.
you and I see in some of the aesthetic forums that we're in, the a provider will post something. It's usually a text message of an interaction between client and esthetician, and they'll be asking for advice, or it's after the fact. This is what I did. What do you think? And there's a lot of
Hmm.
mixed emotions that happen around how to handle that.
Yeah.
And you guys just thinking about it, there's always going to be the exception, and you manage that as the exception. The way that you're going to treat your customers in the big picture is that you're always going to make it right, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The pump didn't work in the product, and they're like, "Oh, it's all the way." They bring the product guy has that much product,
And
and you're
just,
like,
I know.
"The pump doesn't work," and you're like, "Okay, all right, we're gonna fix it. We're gonna replace it. You're gonna just manage the situation." I get it. That's part of the situation. But when you're thinking about just customer service generally, people are spending money with you. We
Hmm.
know that bad news travels fast, obviously, with social media, like the engagement is crazy. And you just want to diffuse the situation to the best of your ability in the moment.
Yeah.
Not if someone's doing something inappropriate. I get it. That's a different category of situation. But for the most part, making sure that clients are seen, heard, their
Hmm.
experience is validated, and you're going to do whatever you can in your power to fix it.
And if it's a situation where someone left a bad review, um, my advice would be to you respond really fast, but
Yeah.
then take the interaction off of that whatever platform that is. Meaning address it. So sorry you had this experience. But people have things where sometimes they're like, I don't even know if they came in. You know what I mean? Like it might not be real.
Right.
Um, but then it's that like, I've just sent you a private message and get back to me, reach out, or I'm reaching out to you to make this right. But you don't do that in public. That
Yes.
happens. But future clients, well, two things. People know crazy just as well as you and I do. So when someone reads some insane review about you that may or may not even be true, right? People recognize that.
Hmm.
I've had multiple people tell me too. They're like, if someone has no bad reviews, then it's suspect that they're not real, which
Right.
Um, but take it offline, right? Take it
Yeah.
into a private space. You still handle it, and you still do the right thing with the client, but don't let it play out like yeah, I've seen that happen, and I'm just like, oh, okay, everyone, calm down.
We're like, we need to disengage, get
Yeah,
off of this
take a
social
breath.
media platform.
Yes, yeah,
Especially if people are giving a bunch of bad advice, like just err on the side of good judgment with your client in mind to fix the
yes,
situation.
yes.
I love it. So we talked a little bit about technology helping your client experience. Do you have any specific tools that you prefer for aesthetics, for booking and for keeping client notes, data?
Oh, Um, that's funny that you asked me that. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I have an online booking system, which like, I mean, I think there's a lot of good ones out there. You have to
Yeah.
figure out what's important to you as a feature. Like for me as a solo provider, I think it's a little easier,
Hmm.
not managing this big diverse team and different services. But like I have, okay, you're going to laugh about this, but I, I think, Joel is currently building me a note taking system that I can use
Love
that will
it.
be secure. And I know, we're not under HIPAA, but we do handle a lot of private information for
Yeah.
clients. So
Yeah.
I handle my information in my space the same way that like when I was working with acupuncturists years ago, and they are, so I followed their lead in how to handle the data. But currently, I everything I do is by hand, my notes. And I want to shift that to an online platform.
Yes.
Um, I still like I said, I haven't found it. And so Joel's like, well, tell me what you need and I'll build it.
Hey,
Maybe I'll
yay
be
for having
launching a note
husband.
taking SD app soon. We'll see.
Yay for having husband and technology that can
Right?
actually build. Jill's based in San Francisco, so there's technologies at the forefront of everything that's going on in the
Yeah.
Bay.
Yeah.
I get it. The most important thing
Online
is
booking
having a
is
system,
online
right?
online booking is super important nowadays because clients book while you're sleeping.
Yes.
Clients book while you're in the shower in the morning, getting ready for work. Like
Yep.
it's just that accessibility. People expect it now.
I use a Calendly for online booking just because the back and forth of trying to schedule an appointment with 50 different people at any given point in time is enough to like
It'll make you
drive you
crazy.
to drink.
Waste of time. Yeah.
Waste of time, more efficiency. So using technology to keep your systems in check, client data, you guys, the understanding the importance of history, client's history, how many times have they booked with you, how much retail has a customer spent with you, like those are all really valid things in the
Mm-hmm.
big picture of your business, and being able to look at it client by client by client,
Yep.
knowing who your top 10 clients are, your top 20 clients, your top 30 clients,
Oh yeah,
super impactful.
it's very easy to do nowadays. It's like, I mean, we have the technology. You can just run a report in five
Yes.
minutes. You can find out who your, top 10 are.
The bread and butter of your business, right? And should be treated as such.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jill, what's the best piece of feedback you've received from a client that impacted your practice in a way where you made a change in a way that something happened over your 20 something year, 24 years of experience, 24 years, right?
26.
You know, this
Am I
is
aging myself? I don't know.
so this year, 2025, I know there's a lot of astrology around 2025, but I started in the industry in October of 1995. And I don't know where 30 years has gone. I don't know, like, am I like 92? Like, what happened? But it's a real thing. The time is like,
I know.
we're just hurtling forward, like, catch our breath, catch our breath. You've had a lot of experience. So, is there anything memorable that stands out in your head as like, this happened and I changed my process to something else?
Um, I think the idea of knowing that like your practice and the systems that you have in place are going to evolve based on changes. Like, I mean, I've added stuff to my consultation form in the last month, and it is based on the fact of, and this I'm sure has happened to a ton of people, like you're talking with your client, you're starting a treatment, and you're like, well, that would have been nice to know. I'm like, ding, ding. Why isn't that on my form? Right?
Yes.
Isn't that
Yes.
something that I'm checking? So I think, I don't know if I'd say it's like one piece of feedback. I mean, I realized that the front end communication, front and back end communication, I get a lot of positive feedback on it because people are like, "Oh my gosh, that was like I was impressed. That was so thorough." So they come in having a great impression of you before you've ever put your hands on them.
Yes.
So I found that like I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's the right thing. I'm doing that." But then changing, being able to adapt and change based on the person and not being so rigid in your treatments, in your consultation, whatever it is. You have to be able to pivot, right?
Yes. In the moment, in real time, in real
In
life,
yeah, in
outside
real
of technology land,
yeah. Yeah, like in actual communication with people based on their personality. It's huge.
which is huge, right? It's how you build a database of clients that are willing to come back to you
Yeah,
for your skill set and your expertise and all of that fun stuff.
yeah.
So, if you had I know you guys, so I'm going to talk about in the next second here, we're going to talk about where you can find Jill, where you can buy her book, all of the fun things. But what advice would you give to new estheticians, Jill, looking to build a better client experience? So we're in 2025. The space is crowded. There's a lot of crazy things happening in the world. You're trying to create an environment where clients, your retention is a big deal right now,
Mhm.
specifically the clients that are your bread and butter. What advice would you give new estheticians looking to build a client experience that stands out?
I actually did a whole class on this 2 weeks ago, but there's a lot of points, but your presence with that client in the treatment room, your communication, which, you know, envelops your charting and your follow-up,
Mhm.
those things are gonna be huge. When you show them that you care about them when they're not paying you, that is gonna be huge.
Yes.
It's not transactional. You know, when they get that follow-up email, you know, "How does your skin feel today? I was so nice to meet you." And you're adding in, "Oh, I hope you have a great time in spring break with your kids," or whatever it is. They're
Yes.
like, "Oh, like, she's actually, like, on board with me here," you know? And, like, I'm not getting paid for that,
Right.
but I mean, but I am.
But you are.
But I am. Yeah.
Mhm.
But it and it's there's a genuineness to it with the personalization that I mean, that's there are a lot of estheticians. I just did a post on my consulting side the other day. There's a lot of estheticians that aren't necessarily really great at their job, like the skincare part of it,
Mm.
but they got the relationship part down and they're
Yeah.
booked out,
Yeah.
you know? It's
If
huge.
that says something right there, the relationship
Yeah.
aspect of
And
it,
just
huge.
and being able to focus when you're with your client. I mean, it sounds so simple, but it's not. It's like one of the hardest things to master, I think, is like truly putting all your focus right there for whatever that time frame is.
And keeping your head in this moment of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know we're set up with weapons of mass destruction. We carry them around in our wherever
Right.
we go constantly.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's a real thing. So I love all of that. You, Jill, you are such a so much wisdom is packed into every time I talk to you. I love you, and I
Thank
appreciate all that you're bringing to the table because it's so impactful. The the because you're working in silos, everyone's working. Most of the estheticians now, like I find, are independent, working their own treatment rooms. People don't get exposed to other things. So they have to go find the information, find additional training around acne, find additional client experience information. And you're looking at it, I'm like, I always say, and I've said it in multiple podcasts about the experience. Your experience is priceless
you. Mhm.
because you've actually done it. When someone has done it, case in point, we went, not to go off on a total tangent here, because I know I'm going to tell everybody where they can find your book. We went to everyone knows what Canva is. If you don't know what Canva is, you should look it up because it's a tool that's so impactful for your business, does everything. We went to a Canva keynote presentation last week in Los Angeles. And I will tell you that the experience of what they created for people that use Canva, I was like so toe in the socket moment. It was just like
Mm,
next level about creating an experience that was relevant to Canva. And I was thinking, I go to these things, Jill, to get inspiration. Like I want to be inspired by something because it gets my creative juices flowing.
yeah.
And I often find like usually technology is usually like it and the stage and the lighting and it was just like, it was such an experience. And I thought, how do we bring this back now into our industry and just reiterate this moment that I'm having right now is impactful, and taking it down to the micro level of what goes on day to day
Hmm.
interaction in your treatment room is just as important as this experience, how I feel
Yep.
walking into this stadium. That's how we want our clients to feel.
Exactly.
Super huge, super impactful. Okay, let's talk about where everybody can find you, Jill.
Okay.
Socials.
Yeah. So, well, everything. My consulting company is synthesiscx.com, CX for client experience. And everything is on there, like the classes I'm doing, where I'm speaking, all of that. And the book Synthesis, you can just look it up on Amazon, or there's a direct link also on my website. Instagram is Synthesis CX Consulting, and I try to like do little reels. Sometimes they're real things that happen to me in my space, or like little tips on things to do to up your game in terms of client experience. So
Which is so relevant, you guys. The second part, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. The second part of the book is when shit goes sideways.
yes, that's the whole second half of the book.
I
Because, like I
remember.
always say, it doesn't matter. You could be perfect, perfect, and none of us are. But even
Yeah.
if you are, things are going to go down. There's no
Yes.
way around it. And so it's scripts, and I just did a class actually on the big three a couple weeks ago. So like late cancels, no shows, late arrivals. And it was a really great group. And some of the best feedback they were like was the scripts. They were like, oh my God, I put those on my
Yes.
phone. Because people sometimes when it does happen, I'm the same way. I don't like conflict. So,
Mm.
if you have it at the ready, you thought it through ahead of time, that I think is so, you know, a resource for you to use to help you in the moment.
Huge. And you guys, the reading, this is a great read for all estheticians, of course. But if you are new and you're just getting out of school and you're like, how do I start my experience here? This is a great place to start. You can find it on Amazon.
Yep,
And yes, support Jill and her consulting offerings and check out her website and all that fun stuff. Do you want to hang out for a little product
I
moment?
do.
Okay. All right, you guys. So this has been like, there's so much incoming coming in now in all platforms. I'm probably going to have to direct the group to a streamline portion because Joe, we have our generation that will like write an email, right? Because
Yes.
we write an email and we like put all our thoughts in there. It's very like laid out, like,
Really?
and then we have we'll say Steven's generation, younger generation, where it's top of mind. So I'm in Instagram right now and I had that thought, so I'm going to shoot a DM. And
Right.
then like an hour and a half later, then I have another thought and I shoot another DM. And so there's that aspect of it. Then you have Facebook Messenger, you have text messaging, and it's whatever the person's personal choice of communication is.
Right.
And we have to like streamline it all into like a pipeline.
Hmm.
Shopify does a great job of actually consolidating your information into one social media stuff, at least, so you can make sure that you're getting back to everybody. But it is a real thing. So the questions that I'm getting, I just keep compiling for the course, the next version of the course, which you guys, we have some exciting announcements with Jill. I'll talk about them later. But at the end of the day, I understand that it's always going to be continually expanding the knowledge base. And so what I'm learning is the evolution, the speed at which people are compiling questions. I am not physically able to keep up with the responses in a structured format such as the course. The course has to be foundational learning, and
Right.
then everything else that you're learning after that, this specific ingredient and where did this come from in the Pacific Northwest? Like there's so much stuff I just keep compiling and I'm like, okay, I want to touch that. I want to touch that. Well, what I've learned now doing this for a long time is that it's never going to be 100% up to speed. So we are looking at Wish Pro specific webinars just for people that are in the channel asking specific questions. So we've had a lot of questions that are coming in about the new products. So one of the reasons why we couldn't be recording podcasts, I had to look at my schedule and go, okay, where's the priority right now? What's the priority of the business today, right now?
Mhm.
Is it to record another podcast and push the launch back a little bit? We have a back order on Light Magic. Should we push this? Like, what do we have to do? So I have to prioritize. I get you guys. It takes a lot to coordinate podcasting and recording and the timing and the scheduling. It's a lot. So I'm going to answer some of the questions that we've received so far about SPF. And we know that the bar is kind of set at SPF 30 in the aesthetic space. And the questions that we're getting around this is like, what is the difference between this? Do I actually have a Light Magic on my desk? I probably don't. It is coming back, you guys. I saw a new version of it, so it's coming. What's the difference between this and Light Magic?
Mhm.
So here's the primary difference. This is 100%. So I'm going to show you guys on my hand here. This is 100% what is called organic filters. Now, I know that everybody gets freaked out when they hear like organic, like, oh my gosh, what's an organic filter? Organic filters are chemical filters. So this is a blend to get you to SPF 50 of chemical filters that's going to it leaves a really beautiful finish. Sorry, my hairy arm and hand here. It leaves a really beautiful finish on the skin, just gives a really nice, healthy glow. There's no white cast because they're organic filters. So there's no zinc oxide or titanium dioxide that's going to give that white cast. So higher fits clients, clients with darker skin tones are going to love Intelligent SPF 50. The reason why this product is so amazing and such a skincare product, in addition to your SPF, this is actually in your little booklet. It's in your little update. I posted in the group last night the link that you can always find that. If you guys use your product mastery book is always updated in real time in the digital form. And you can always order a booklet too. When you place an order, there's a little sheet, a little spot on there you can order it. Is that there are 3 peptides in here. So diaminopro I always mess it up every time. Tripeptide 33, you guys. Here is there's some really, really good science. So you're exposed to UV radiation, your skin, obviously, we all know what a free radical is. And free radicals are the things that damage cells. So repeated exposure, and I know there's all these debates about physical and chemical, and oh my God, we want this and we don't want that, and it's going to kill you. I get it. I understand. I actually went back to the origination of sunscreen. It was actually for pilots in World War II. Like that's why sunscreen was created. I was like, this is crazy. The goal here is to limit free radicals from forming in the skin, which repeated exposures, we all know you can have sun damage. The cellular activity, the DNA, actually, the expression changes based off repeated inundation from UV exposure, which would then form as a sunspot. It breaks down collagen, degradation from UV exposure. We talked about, or Dermalogic actually a couple of years ago was talking about collagen banking. And I was like, collagen banking? What in the hell concept is this? You're basically preserving your skin from breaking down by using SPF.
Mhm.
So the difference between Intelligent, it is organic filters, so chemical filters. It is SPF 50. This is a more emollient for your aging or your drier clients. So when you think about how you're gonna position these two, Light Magic, think about it for your normal to oily clients, and think about Intelligent as your normal to dry clients, clients with aging concerns. The peptides, there's also, it's called Matrixyl. Matrixyl 3000 peptide blend is a collagen induction peptide blend
Mhm.
to keep your skin and the elasticity in your skin firm. So it is as much as a age management acne safe product as it is an SPF. And it retails for, I think, $45. So again, airless pump, you're going to
And
start
it's
seeing
really
everything.
nice on higher fits again.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful product. I am loving it because we are in, the fireball is out from behind the,
Poor thing.
I always say, how's the fireball today? Like, what's going on? Ooh. I'm like, what's happening with the fireball today? Like, is it really, is it like, Because when you look at your phone now, you can see what the UV index is.
Yeah.
You guys were in Palm Springs. It is sunny. I know everyone that's in the Midwest calls me and they're like, David, why are you complaining? I'm like,
Oh,
it's one thing, when you just appreciate clouds or a little bit of rain. It's okay. Second new product launch, you guys, which this is, I am behind in the marketing of this because it is Rosacea Awareness Month. Thank you, Jill, for your Instagram post over the weekend.
yep.
Azelify. This is is it coming up here? Is it focusing?
Uh-huh.
This has been in the works since 2023 from one of our clients down in Florida who is asking for a product to treat rosacea. So if you are listening to this podcast and you are a consumer, this information is directed at professionals. We do have medical professionals in the world, in the wish world. So I'm talking to professionals. I'm going to make some claims right now that are specifically designated for professionals. So this has 10% azelaic acid in it. So this is going to be for so let me tell you a little bit about azelaic acid. It's naturally already present in your skin. There's actually there's a disease where the skin produces too much azelaic acid and it hypopigments around the area where it's happening in the skin. So when we talk about azelaic acid, it's derived from grains. It is gluten-free. That's the second question I get. Is there gluten in it? There's no gluten in it. It's naturally present in the skin. So the reason why I love it so much is that it is microbiome friendly. It goes after and regulates C. acnes and staph bacteria. Remember, those two things keep each other in check, specifically around acne. So you will have a benefit for an acne prone client. The other question that I'm getting right now is, David, when should I recommend a Zelify over a Clarify? And there are two very different mechanisms of action. So a Zelify is going to be for, first of all, if there's rosacea present in the skin at all, a Zelify. If you have sometimes subtype 2 rosacea, you'll have a lot of pustular activity. If there's more pustular activity on the skin than there is rosacea, so think of the redness or the inflammation, you're going to recommend Clarify, okay, because you need to mitigate that bacteria. This is a comp label, so it's 2.5% now, but it's in this bottle. Things that I have on my desk. I have actually working. It was going to be called Stabilize. That was a lab sample. All the fun things that are in my office. So your clients, so think rosacea, go to. So the reason why azelaic acid is so cool is it is a DHT blocker. So if you remember in the course when we start talking about the conversion of androgens to testosterone, specifically to DHT, DHT is very inflammatory towards somebody's skin that is already prone to inflammation. So if you're genetically predisposed to acne or you have rosacea, this is a blocker at the very beginning of the inflammatory stage, which is why it's so effective for rosacea. So it is an oil-free formulation. Can you see that's a little bit of a gel consistency?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes into the skin very, very easily. It is not greasy. I know some of our clients are like, ooh, I can't have too much texture. It took me a year and a half to actually get this right. Goes into the skin very, very quickly and very easily. So you've got, in addition to your 10% azelaic acid, there's colloidal oat in there, again, calming the skin. There's beta glucan in there. Beta glucan, you guys, it has higher humectant properties than hyaluronic acid. It's like the goat of humectants, I call it. This version is derived from mushrooms. You've got L-glutathione. Again, we want to keep the antioxidant levels in the skin very, very high. And then you've got high weight hyaluronic acid. So it's going to keep the skin hydrated, moisturized. Depending on how your client is, I don't know why there's bubbles popping up on the screen right now. When your client is, so if you're going to make a recommendation for when to use this, I'm recommending that you put this in their PM routine to start, and maybe they're using Mandelica in the morning to keep their skin from congesting exfoliation.
Mm-hmm.
Azelaic acid is a keratolytic, but it's not considered like a hydroxy acid. So you're not going to get the same, it's not going to oversensitize the skin. But I've noticed, you guys, when we were testing, initially we had some clients in Georgia, we had some clients in Northern California, we had some clients in Southern California, rosacea 20 plus years, been on multiple prescriptions, were actually getting mad at me of how long it was taking to get it done and launched. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to whip up another lab sample so they can stay on the product because the results are so immediate. So azelaic acid, like we talked about, will treat acne. It is a slower process than what BPO can provide for the skin. So you're going to make, in your professional opinion, what's the best usage for the skin type that's in front of you. And most likely, if there's inflammation, rosacea, obviously we want to have our clients limit the alcohol intake. I did have a client say to me, David, I really like my wine and I'm not changing that. And I was like, okay, that's all right. She noticed that her skin is flaring when she's drinking alcohol, spicy foods. Your skin being hot or exposed to the sun obviously can flare rosacea. So this will help calm the situation down. If clients are going to use it in the AM, you can obviously use it twice a day. If you want to use it AM, PM, you can. You're going to put your SPF or moisturizer on over this in the morning before you leave. So this, I believe, retails for $42. It is in a 50 ml size. We went back and forth over, should it be in 30 ml, 50 ml. We decided that to put it in the 50 ml over the 30 ml to give a client a full 45 to 60 day treatment option. So I hope that helps answer questions. You've been able to try them, right, Jill?
Yeah, I love both of them.
Okay,
And
awesome.
I have my first rosacea client actually on the um, new serum now. So
I love that. I
stay
love it.
tuned.
So I love the before and after pictures you guys send. I love it. It gives me life. The tagging on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I even see things randomly in TikTok land about Wish. I love it. It's so beyond me at this point of like controlling where the stuff is going and who's taking a picture of it. It's beyond. So I love that. Jill, thank you so much for your time. Earthquakes, everything this morning.
Right.
If you're in California, you guys, we had an earthquake this morning. So I have no idea what the magnitude was, but it was a good 20, 30-second earthquake. So that was significant.
Yeah.
Rocking and rolling right when we're going to start recording. So we keep it going. All right, Jill, I appreciate you. Have a fantastic
David.
afternoon.
Okay, thanks.